What's going on, guys? It is Friday night, and that means one thing. It's time for Premier League predictions, game week 6. And if you thought that was good news, we have the wonderful Alyx returning on the channel. I was going to ask you about your shirt because it is nice, and that'd be a nice place to go. But what I want to ask you is, obviously you've been through the ringer with Everton at the minute. Are you starting to see the sunshine through the rain?
How can I? To be fair,
I mean, with the ownership was my point I was trying to make. Like, is that a, sun coming through the clouds?
I guess so. But I mean, we've been told now for the past 18 months, 3 or 4 times, that a deal has been confirmed, everything's ready to go and all that, and then here we are still. So yeah. I don't know yet. I'll try to look at
There's not a little bit of optimism or a percentage, or where you're like,
I'm trying it. I'm trying my bloody best, mate, honestly. But they fucking drain the fucking life out of you.
Oh, yeah.
So what can I say?
I mean, I can't think of the... And we are going to get into Premier League predictions. It's not welcome to the Everton talk, but I am actually really curious because watching from my end, I watched the Bournemouth game and I watched the collapse there. The all the games where you're 1 or 2-0 up and you go again. And I can't help but think at times with United, we've done that where we've gone up and we've conceded, and it's happened on a consistent basis. So there is actually, we always have these similarities, don't we? I think as a clubs, which is, I always have a soft spot for Everton. I always say that, but yeah, we'll get into that game, and we can stay a few extra minutes on that one and talk specific because you got Palace at home, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So we'll get into that. But for anyone who's watching right now, if you haven't seen these predictions before, it is what it says on the tin. Obviously, we go through each game over the weekend and predict what score it's going to be, how the game's going to play out. But there are 2 stipulations with this, Alyx. So one, this could sound a bit bizarre, but you get a banana skin, let's call it. One game you think could slip up, or it might be a little bit controversial to say that's going to be. So that's your one banana skin. And then the other one is a barn burner. So the game you think there's going to be a lot of goals involved in. All right, makes sense?
Okay.
So you could just go through. We go through the games together, and you could just click in your head and say, you know what, I think this one's going to be a barn burner. So likewise with the chat as well. If you're watching this live or if you're watching this later on, also get involved and let us know your predictions, and I'll go through your comments as I go, kind of through them. Now, there isn't a competitive league yet for these predictions, but I think I'll have to start creating one and seeing the results that we predicted and see how far off we was or what have you. But there's been multiple people on different weeks. Last week we had Adam and Shreyas on. The week before that we had me and Sam on. So yeah, I'm battling everyone at the minute. That's what I do. Okay, we'll kick it off, Alyx, with actually an early kickoff that I'm excited about and I'm looking forward to. Newcastle versus Manchester City. Newcastle are a bit of a weird team, I think, at the minute. I think, they've only lost 1, but they have looked shaky in certain games. City unbeaten in the last few games, but you've got the Rodri situation. What's Pep going to do to kind of manage that? I don't know. I think this could be a little bit of a sticky one with it being at St. James's Park. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do. I agree fully. I think it's going to be a close fought game, me. And I think we're probably going to, 1-0 either way, but I'm going to back City. Because, they've lost Rodri. He's been their most important player for the past 2 or 3 years now. Probably their best player, really.
Best player in the world, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, definitely deserves a shout for the Ballon d'Or anyway. But I just think they've done kind of all right without him. Even they're not playing the best football, but they're winning games, and that was always their issue over the past couple of years. Is when you look at their record without Rodri, it's poor. But I don't know. I can see him. I reckon it's going to be a close fought game. Newcastle always give it their all at home, but I think 2 decent. Well, obviously City are a very good team. Newcastle are a good side. 2 good teams going at it. I think 1-0 City, me.
It's weird because the way people talk, look, Rodri is a huge miss, and I get it, and he's fundamental to everything that they do. And probably the best player in the Premier League. So obviously it's going to be a massive miss. But it's not as if they have to go and get Martin from Wades to fill in at midfield. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got fucking Mateus Nunes, who was 50 million quid. They've got Kovacic, who cost them 30 million quid. They've got Rico Lewis, who could probably drop into there. They've got Stones, who's played in there before. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not as if, yeah. And do you know what I hate? And we are going to move on after this. But you know what I hate? I hate United last season. The amount of injuries that we had. Everyone was calling us fucking whingers and moaning, and you're always talking about it. And maybe you was even one of them. I don't know. You might have been one of them. But I see these teams like Arsenal now, Ødegaard, one player gone. Fucking City, Rodri, one player gone. And it's like, you know, the absolute end of the world. And I'm thinking, bro, we had fucking Lindelof, we had Amrabat at left back last season, and Casemiro at centre back, and an unfit Johnny Evans in the back line as a partnership. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, fuck you, City. That's what I'm saying. Sorry, 1-0 did you say?
1-0, I'm saying.
1-0. I don't think City keep a clean sheet.
You don't?
No, I'll go 2-1. I'll go 2-1 City. Right, on to 3 o'clock kickoff. So just slagging Arsenal off, so it's only fitting that we talk about them. Arsenal versus Leicester. No Trossard, no Ødegaard, but a team that'll be probably flying out the gates after that City game. There was a lot of animosity.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I don't know if they'll take that as huge momentum now, potentially, with Rodri being out. See it as an opportunity to really, you know, kind of push forward. And anything other than a smashing of Leicester, do you see?
No, yeah, exactly. Because, like you said, they took an absolute fucking hammer blow, didn't they? Yeah. The last minute, last second almost against City for a game. They fully deserved to win. Like, anyone can discuss the tactics or whatever and say it was pewless and all that.
What did you make of that?
I just think
you got to do it, haven't you?
Like, you've got to do it.
You've got to do it.
You're playing the second half at the Etihad. Like,
what else? Are you supposed to go man to man? Like, fucking play it? Like, and they did that the season before and lost 5-0.
Exactly. So they've got one of the best defensive records in the league over the past 12 months, longer. So it made sense for them to do it, and they so nearly did it. It was a massive punch in the gut for them that then they didn't win the game. But then they've had a bit of, like you say, that could be positive momentum. Like with the Rodri news, that could be a bit of a push up for them now. And you would imagine they're playing Leicester at home. I think 3-0 me at least.
Yeah.
I think we go out there, regardless of who they're missing, and because they've got a really good. They're really good. I'd like them to do it this year. Really good.
Yeah. Are you telling me you got a soft spot for Arsenal? Because I know your brother's an Arsenal fan, isn't he?
Yeah, I always have, to be fair. I feel like most people generally did because like the style of football. Obviously, for United in general, like they were Arsenal and United, obviously like the sort of definitive Premier League rivalry. So it's tricky for you, but it's either Arsenal, Liverpool, or City in it. So surely out of them three, you'd rather it was Arsenal.
Yeah, and to be honest, that rivalry was when we was both like 8 years old or something, 7, like in 2000s when it was really kind of. So obviously I remember it, but I'm not. I wasn't the fan like I am now. Like I'm obviously relentlessly watching United, even if it's like a fucking under 18s cup game. But yeah, Arsenal out of the 3, it goes Liverpool the worst, City below that, and then Arsenal for me. So yeah. But I think they'll. Coming back to the game, I agree with you. I'll go with a 3-0 win, easy clean sheet. And I think, it's one of those games in it where you've just had a difficult one, and when they're such a good team, they just snap back the game after, and they're instantly fucking on fire. So I think they'll start quick. I think they'll get an early goal, and I could see a 3-4-0 easy in that one. Right, on to Brentford and West Ham. I think we have. Is it Brentford and West Ham? Yeah, Brentford and West Ham. If I was to say to you who's higher in the table, what would you say?
Brentford.
Yeah. Brentford on 6 points, West Ham on 4. Are you surprised by West Ham start with the money that they spent?
I'm not surprised at all. I didn't understand why it was all last season, especially from like January onwards. It was all about Moyes is going at the end of the season. Even though they were
knew you'd have a Moyes angle on this. I knew it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's literally West Ham's, certainly in the Premier League era, he's their most successful manager. Yep. He's won them a European trophy, which, it's the Conference League, but to say that West Ham have won a European trophy, that's mental. So Like it was all about, right, we're getting for 6 months onwards that the style of football needs to change and all this. And then they go and put in so much effort to go and get Lopetegui, who is a defensive minded coach and who,
Bizarre,
okay,
innit?
right, he had 1 year at Wolves where in the end he left because of, like, he felt betrayed by the owners or something. He's gone back on his word about transfer budget and all that kind of stuff. But he didn't really do that well at Wolves. And as soon as it was announced that he got it, I was like, West Ham. I honestly think West Ham are going to be struggling this year. I think they're going to be down there, and I think Lopetegui is going to be sacked fairly early on, Christmas, New Year, something like that.
Well, you
Really
have
do.
to, like, the money's been spent, innit? And that's something I think that's been
Yeah,
criticised a lot at West Ham with the owners and stuff and not fully backing him. You can't say he hasn't been
yeah.
backed. You know what I mean?
No,
Because
he's
he's
been
got
back.
good players
And
in as well.
he's got a good squad, yeah. They're
Yeah.
really good team who can be doing stuff. So it just made no sense whatsoever to replace Moyes for his supposed style of play, and
Yeah.
then bring in a guy who's going to play pretty much the exact same style of play.
Yeah.
It's mad.
All right, we're gonna go on
So
to
yeah,
the next game because sorry, I could stay on that for ages. Just a quick
2-0 Brentford. I'm going to say we've not
2-0 Brentford.
2-0
Yeah.
Brentford.
I'll go 2-1 Brentford. I think Brentford concede. I'm going to go to the comments. We've got Nick Knack saying, howdy, folks. Random guy saying, who's the handsome lad in the clean jersey? There you go. There's got a compliment on your jersey for you there. Yeah,
Okay.
that's you, mate. Yeah.
Over.
I'm wearing a jumper as well, by the way, but yeah, just in case you don't care. Nick Knack, Newcastle have been lucky to pick up the points they have so far. I agree. That's what I'm saying. I think there has been, if you've watched the games closely, there has been a couple of sticking points where they've only just managed to get through it. I think the Bournemouth game was one of them as well. So I absolutely agree with that. There's a question from Richard Alyx saying, I want to ask Alyx a question. How will he feel if City just get fined but no points reduction? And we could be here for ages. So let's try, because trust me, I've got thoughts on this, but I'll let you go.
It just, I mean, like, my first instinct is to just laugh because what the fuck else can you do other than cry? But I fully think that'll be what happens. 100%. I don't think they'll get any points deductions.
I agree.
That's
I
all.
agree. I've already seen a couple of reports saying the Premier League have fucked something up in terms of, I don't know the specifics, but with the rules. And I think Mike Keegan reported that and saying it's a big kind of advantage to City's side. And both the same lawyers that both teams have got, the Premier League, sorry, and City, are from the same chambers, apparently. So the lawyers know each other. So make of that whatever you will. But I seen it being a shit show. I see the Premier League losing power in it as well. You saw Leicester with a loophole they found. And that's just like, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Because it was Championship.
Yeah. As an Everton fan, you must feel like a sense of justice needed to be done, right?
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a fucking joke. That's all you can say. It's a disgrace, but what will be done? Nothing, because it's the Cartel 6, innit? They're protected, and it's City now.
That's me nodding along and thinking I'm United. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, Cartel.
But you know it yourself,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Just because you happen to support one of the clubs, you see it because you're not blind. You know what I mean? So yeah, City are, the most valuable asset, really, aren't they? If you look at it that way, in terms of to the Premier League right now, they've got the biggest manager in the world. They've got the biggest players in the world. They've won 4 in a row. You know what I mean? They've just won the Champions League last year. So, they're going to be protected because they're too valuable. Whereas clubs like us and Forest aren't. So.
What did you get? Was it a 6 point initially for 3 breaches?
No, we got 10 points originally.
Yeah, but he brought it down, didn't it?
No, brought it back, yeah. So it was 10, and then they give us 4 back.
Yeah.
But then they took another 2 off us.
Right. Okay. And you would have finished 10th or 11th, right? If
I think it was 12th, but it was like level on points with 11th or 10th even. But yeah.
Yeah. I think they should be fucking relegated. I think Haaland should get put in the bin, and I think Pep should just fuck off to Europe, and that'd be all right. Because then I think the competition in the league would just completely open up. Because we are almost turning a little bit to the Bayern Munichs of the German league, where they're just winning it every year.
Farmers leagues, innit? The
Yeah,
farmers leagues that we
and
took the piss out of PSG and Bayern and Juve and all that for so long, and now we're becoming it, and it's sad.
we are.
I don't like to see it.
Yeah. Right, let's bring it back to the games then. Did we do the prediction? Yeah, we did the predictions for Brentford and West Ham, didn't we? We both went with that. Up next, Alyx, we have Chelsea versus Brighton. This game I'm actually interested in. Two teams that, again, that are close in the table. Chelsea flying under Maresco, which I don't think a lot of people kind of expected. Likewise with Brighton and their new manager coming from St. Pauli in the second German league to, Brighton picking another gem yet again. I don't know with this game. I really, really don't. I think it could maybe a clash of both, settling for a point potentially.
Yeah. I think it's two teams playing fairly similar football, who are going to go for it. Chelsea are obviously fucking. How can you ever really truly predict a Chelsea result?
It's impossible, isn't it?
It's just mad because obviously with the players that they've got so many good players, and they should be, fighting towards the top more than they have been the last couple of years anyway. But yeah, I don't know.
Did you see
Obviously,
the
a
bench
lot of them are
the
young.
other day?
Yeah.
For Chelsea.
Which game?
It was the last game, I think. Not the one against Barrow in the league. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yao Felix.
It's mad.
What the fuck? I was like, just a full roster of like the best 7-a-side you've possibly seen in your life.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The transfer fees that have been spent on that bench, not just for Chelsea, but like
400 million, I think it was. On the bench.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Chelsea now, they are the thing is with Chelsea is that they're all so young, so there's so much potential with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I think the progress is as slow as it has been, or at least because we're so used to seeing Chelsea at the top and fighting for titles that the last few years have felt weird, but now I feel they are slowly getting back up there because of the young talent they've got. I think, and they're starting to look a bit. Obviously, it's only early doors under Maresca and that, and there's a lot of flaws to his system. They're going to concede quite a lot of goals. Like there's no,
going to score a lot as well,
but they should score a lot. I'm predicting 2-1 Chelsea, mate, because I think both teams score. They both are good attacking teams. And I think Chelsea might, it's like that would be a massive win for Chelsea, which is kind of crazy to think that a home 2-1 victory against Brighton would be massive, but that's where we are really right now, and I think they'd be absolutely over the moon with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure them and City are the highest scorers in the league at the minute. They're right at the top. They're bagging goals. Obviously, the one against Wolves helped with that. But there's goals in it, I think, and that's why I'm going to go with a 2-2 Chelsea and Brighton. I think that'd be a competitive game, and I think I'll probably watch that as one of the 3:00 kickoffs. Moving on to the next, it's your lot. Oh no, that's sorry. Let me go up. I put the wrong team on the screen. Everton versus Crystal Palace. I don't need to say anything. I'll let you take the floor. How are we feeling ahead of this one?
Oh, mate. I'm nervous. Blood. Like, what can I say? I don't know. I think something's got to give, and I think this is a good opportunity.
Did you say that before the past couple of games, though? I bet you did, didn't you? I bet you're like, yeah, this is.
Do you know what it is, right? Even up until the first 3 games, even after the fucking Bournemouth game, with obviously the mental craziness of what happened there.
Yeah.
I've still said to everyone that we're still going to finish 13th, comfortably 13th, like mediocrity. And then obviously the week after, we've then gone 2-0 up at Villa.
That was mad.
Great team. Obviously, we were getting outplayed, but we've gone 2-0 up, 2 really good goals as well. And then they come back and beat us and score fucking the most ridiculous fucking goal you've ever seen to win the game, like right near the end. So it's one of them, mate. It's like, I think when it's so early on in the season, but like you're sort of 6, 7, 8 games in, and you're struggling for wins. So obviously you sort of like, if you're 8 games in, what's that? Is that like how many games?
There's 38 games in the season, isn't there? So
38.
you're
So
about
what's
what,
that?
1/5 of the way through the season or something?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So
That's quick
people,
math for me. That wow.
oh god, fair
Yeah.
play. So people, the used to, like, it's normal to lose your heads a bit because it's a shocking start and all that, and then we've had this happen, we've had that happen, and all that kind of thing. But I just, something's got to give, and I think it will. And I think Sean, that, like, all the talk in like the media now is that Sean Dyche is like he's fucking right on the edge. He's this close to getting sacked and all that. I think again it's going a bit over the top. Like, as he's made some bad decisions, but that's, they're all human, innit? They make, like, with substitutions and shit like that. Like, I just think he what he did last season really is kind of ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
we shouldn't have been anywhere near where, like, without the points deduction to get like comfortably mid-table. Like, we shouldn't have been there. Like, he deserves credit for that, I think.
Yeah,
And I
there's
think
credit in the bank from that. Do you think? Because it was, again, there's a similar comparison with United where Ten Hag finished 8th last season, but because he won the FA Cup, that's leveled him up, and people were like, okay, we're willing to be patient with him. Obviously, at the start of the season, a different conversation, but that's the way the fans feel, at least.
I think, to be honest, I think if the most credit in the bank for Dyche was beating Liverpool towards the end of last season.
Yeah,
Beating them at home, basically. Like, they lost the league at Goodison. Like,
yeah,
so
can't
that
ask for much more
made,
than
and
that,
we
can you?
played, yeah, but we played so well, and then there's been certain games like during his tenure where it's been like that or similar to that, and you're like, you know, this is everything. This is what we want. This is perfect for us.
Yeah,
Like, and but then the next game, or we might play well for a few games, and then go on a bit of a bad run again, and then suddenly, I don't know, people, yeah, it goes a bit over the top. I'd say. I think Palace is the start of us turning things around, and
there's
I'm
the
worried
clip.
about saying that exactly because we could so easily get beat 4-0.
Yeah.
But Palace have not had a very good start, have they?
No, well, we played them
But
last week, and
yeah,
they weren't great. We dominated the
no.
first half. They couldn't even touch the fucking ball.
Considering how good they were when Glasnow come in last season,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
amazing
night
end
and
to the
day.
season we had, they've come into this season so excited, the Palace fans,
Yeah.
and then they've not started very well. But fact is, he's a good manager, plays good football, and they've got really good
Eze,
players across the
Mateta,
park. Yeah,
individually, very good.
yeah,
All right,
exactly.
give
So
us your score prediction, Alyx.
I'm going to say that we squeeze out a 1-0 win. I'm going to back
Squeeze out
us.
a 1-0 win. And if
Yeah.
you was to go as bold to make a prediction for who scores, Dwight McNeil. I'll tell you
Probably
what, he's
Mike
putting some
Keane, to be honest.
some points in Dwight McNeil on fantasy. I've been
Yes,
looking at
yeah.
him the first week. I was like 3 mil, 3.5. I was like, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Go for NGI, go for Illiman NGI, right?
Good player.
He's starting to, like, he's pretty much just come into the team a few weeks ago. He's starting to,
Yeah, I like
he's
it. I like
looking
the look
good.
of him.
He's looking very good. So
Yeah. Do you know what was really weird? I'm sorry, we've spent way too much time on Everton, but I was watching. Was it Doncaster he's played in the League Cup?
yeah,
Yeah, I was watching that the other week, and I found myself saying, "Well, I need to just stop watching football because I just every day, whatever game is on, I'm just like, yeah." Anyway, right, I'll go to the comments just quickly because there's quite a few. Nick, you and Sam are part of a cartel. Get that Rolls Royce out of the driveway, okay? Nick Knack, impressive points return for Everton last season, considering. Should be a fun watch, this one. This is a barn burner. Did I say it right? You did say it right. You did say it correctly. But he thinks it's going to be a barn burner. I think it's going to be opposite, and I think it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Everton and Palace. I can see that. I would
I
go as
could.
far to put money on that. To be honest,
Yeah.
that's how I think.
Yeah.
And am I a betting man? Who knows? Maybe I am. Manchester is red forever says Everton 0, Crystal Palace 5.
Wouldn't surprise me. Really
Oh
wouldn't.
God.
Really wouldn't.
Bart is a
Really
serious fan. Says I see Palace getting all 3 points here. Saar will find his feet. Oh, it's gonna be a tricky one. It's gonna be a tricky one for you guys. Right, let's move on. Up next, we've got Nottingham Forest versus Fulham. God knows what's happened with Forest because they've just started off like God knows what. Nuno just got them playing some saucy football. I don't know if you want to call it saucy football, but they're winning games and they're getting points. I mean, beating Liverpool at Anfield was absolutely mega for him. Fulham beat Newcastle 3-1 in their last game as well. And then again, Alyx, this is a reoccurring theme. This 2 teams who are right next to each other. So Forest are 8th and Fulham are 9th. So it's like a mid-table clash. Sets it up for an interesting watch, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like Fulham coming off the back of a very good win against Newcastle 3-1. Forest, obviously, amazing start, probably the best start I think they've probably ever had in the Premier League. So I think it screams goals. This is this what do you call it? A
barn burner.
A barn burner.
Have you never heard that before?
A barn burner.
Like BARN barn burner.
Burner. No, can't say.
You've never heard that saying before, and you're from the north of England, or so you claim.
I know. What can I say?
I don't know.
I think I'm adopted. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you one thing you can't say, and that's barn burner, because you don't know the meaning of it. So, yeah. But you think there's going to be a lot of goals, yeah?
I think it's a 2-2 or a 3-2, me. I think there's goals. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But also Forest and the Nuno, it is defence first, so I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
I just think like you say, 2 teams, mid-table teams. The best thing that they can hope for is mid-table.
Yeah.
And Forest have started well. Fulham, decent side, got goals in the team. I just think they go for it. Do you know what I mean? I get what you say. Obviously, Forest play like Nuno. That's what he's.
He is very pragmatic.
Of course he is, but Mourinho.
Let's go 2-2. Let's go 2-2. Yeah, 2-2. A burner barn, as whatever you call it. It sounds like Real Madrid Stadium. Okay. Up next. How's the battery, Alyx? Just double checking. Are we looking?
Yeah, I'm all right, I think.
Are we okay? Yeah. Okay, we only got a couple more games left anyway, so we're good. Wolves versus Liverpool. Wolves bottom of the table. I think they've been a little bit unlucky in that sense. Yeah. I don't think they've been performing awful. I just think they have been unlucky in certain games. They've had a tough run of fixtures as well. Liverpool, unfortunately, being an Everton fan and myself being a United fan, are looking good under Slot at the minute. They're playing good football. And there hasn't been a so-called transitional kind of period. They just seem to have just took it in the stride. Expecting an absolute spanking from Liverpool.
Yeah. 3-0, I reckon.
Yeah.
But could be anything, but it could be more, to be fair. But I'd reckon 3-0. Just to be fair, I think we're seeing that a bit with Liverpool so far this season. The winning games 2 and 3-0.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
United fans know all about that. We lost 3-0.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But in games that they're absolutely battering teams, they're creating loads of chances, and they're winning 2 and 3-0. It's fair enough. They're playing well. They're scoring goals, but they could be looking better for people to be saying, "Wow, these are looking really good. Like these are ones to beat almost." Well, but obviously they started well under Slot.
That week when they beat us 3-0, the guy won Super 6, didn't he? And if you remember, there was that opportunity from Szoboszlai where he could have just scored and he fucked about loads, and we ended up getting it back. And I've seen it in a couple of games with Liverpool. It's the attack that I'm like, fuck me. They've got Diaz who's flying at the minute. They've got Salah who's a guaranteed killer anyway. They've got Jota. They've got £80 million Nunes. Gakpo who's coming on scoring as well. Like, it's a joke, to be honest, the depth that they've got in attacking areas. And then the defence, Kanate, Van Dijk, solid. Trent's unbelievable. Alisson's the best keeper in the league. I hate him. I absolutely hate him. But I think, it's going to be, I agree, I think 3-0 minimum. and it could go way above that. By the way, if Wolves start really doing what they did against Chelsea. So right, on to Super Sunday. We've got Ipswich versus Aston Villa. Ipswich. I don't know who they are. That sounds like a medical procedure. Ipswich still without a win, despite the desirable football under McKenna. I do like him. I do rate him as a coach. But I mean, Villa are just flying at the minute. Played 7, won 6, lost 1. Extremely tough test. I mean, I think Villa again, similar to the Liverpool game, maybe like a 3-0, 2-0, potentially.
Well, so I've gone for 3-1 Villa because I can see Ipswich putting up a real dogged fight like they do, and probably like maybe they go 1-0 down, they'll equalise 1-1, and then Villa's quality will just show. So 3-1, I reckon. I'm buzzing that Ipswich are here. It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's good, isn't it?
They've come from League One. It's nice, obviously, from your angle, is with Kieran McKenna. I'd imagine there's a lot of United fans keeping an eye on Ipswich, seeing how well they do and stuff. He could be potentially your next manager.
We, in the summer, when they was assessing, doing all these public interviews with like Tuchel and Monaco, they spoke to De Zerbi as well. Potts was on the list, Thomas Frank was on the list, and McKenna was on the list. So they're the representatives in terms of who they've spoken to. And that was when, don't forget, McKenna was going to go Chelsea, wasn't he? That's the mad thing. Exactly. So, he stayed loyal to the soil and stuck with Ipswich to see what he can kind of do there. But I do rate him as a coach. I do. Genuinely.
I rate him massively. I think it's that's amazing, that really, isn't it? That he would
back-to-back promotions as well, and then sticking with them.
Promotions, and then thinking, do you know what? I've got us from League One to back in the Premier League after 22 years.
Yeah.
Like
crazy.
This is amazing for a historical club like Ipswich. It's amazing. And then he's thinking, I want to see this, and I want to test myself in the Premier League with the club that I got there, rather than going to, I mean, let's face it, it's a circus, isn't it, really, Chelsea? And also, let's be honest, United's a bit of a circus in terms of even just in terms of the whole just scrutiny that would be on him as a young manager, but to be at one of the biggest clubs in the world where all eyes are on him, and every fucking word that he says will get analysed and analysed again, and you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think Ipswich stay up, me. I actually do. I don't know how. But I do. I
think it's going to be a similar to Company though, where it was like they've been a bit stubborn with the tactics and not flexible enough. And I think that might catch them, because they do play nice football, but it's the quality. The quality in the Prem's like so much different to any other league in the world. You turn off for a second, it's like, you know what I mean? Like the Palace game, we absolutely dominated that from a United perspective. And then you saw the opportunity, Onana to make a double save from Eze. It's in a lightning bolt, as you know as well. With the results can just change fucking instantly. So you have to be on it 100% all the time. And I don't know if they can do it personally. I see them going back down. I don't want them to. I'd rather them stay in the Prem. Personally.
I think it's showing a lot of like parallels with like Blackpool back in the day, or even Luton last season, even like
but they was a breath of fresh air, weren't they?
Exactly, and you were willing them to stay up almost. I'm sure the neutral, obviously, I mean, we were down in the fight, so I'm not really wanting anyone else to stay up but us. But I'm sure a lot of neutrals would have liked Luton to have stayed up last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And staying now for Ipswich.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him stay up. And I like McKenna, but I think again, Villa very good, 3-1 win.
Okay, all right. Let's move on then. I think we both had similar scores there. On to the one that everyone's waiting for, the one that everyone's in the chat for. Save the best till last. 4:30 kickoff. Man United versus Spurs. I mean, if you're a neutral watching this, and again, I'm sure there's some in the chat watching this live or later on, it's going to be a very, very good goal. This is my barn burner. I think this is, it's got goals in it. You look at the last 5 results between these two teams, Alyx. 2-0, 2-2, 2-0, 2-2, 3-2. They're the last 5 games that we've played. So there's always goals. You hit me with yours first, because I want to get your perspective on this. I don't want to rose-tinted glasses, should I say.
I'll go straight in with my score prediction, and I've gone 2-1 Spurs. What can I say?
Why? Tell me why you've gone with that.
I think they're kind of in both of you right now in terms of where you are.
Same. Close in the table. We're
Well,
yeah, 10th and
exactly.
11th, I think.
Is it right? So there you go. So yeah, I think I don't know. Spurs have just obviously it's Carabao in it, but they've played well midweek, and Hughes obviously had a poor result against 20. So yeah, to be honest now, I just think this is where it's just now the cooker, the pressure cooker just gets turned up and like, because let's be honest, right? Most of
You
United
shit.
fans,
That's what I
maybe
thought he was
not
going to
most
say.
United.
But he's going to go, let's be honest, right? You
You
shit.
shit. I mean, you are though. Let's be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
You are. And every time I've been on over the past however many years, even I've been saying the same. But especially since Ten Hag's been there, it's been poor, man. It really has.
Have you
And
watched
now,
us a lot, Alyx? Like what do you make when you watch us? 'Cause we try, I think as United fans, we try find like not excuses, but well, this guy's not available, and this guy last season there was a lot of injuries, and I think that was warranted, and we won a cup and it was amazing. But when you watch us, what is it that you think? What just stands out where you like? It just doesn't convince me as a coach or as a team.
there's just nothing. There's like no game plan. I think, and I feel like it's been that since day one. Like you don't see any like
Patterns.
proper like pattern, like anything to say that this is a distinguishable style of play, that this is how we're going to do it, this is how we're going to go about it. I know you have had injuries, but listen, like, I feel bad for you because you had a lot of injuries, but it papered over the cracks and it gave him a get out clause, which I think he's really got away with. And then suddenly you go into the FA Cup final where all the chat leading up into the FA Cup final and then even after it was that he's going. Like, you have just finished eighth, you've had your worst ever Premier League season. It was shocking and everything's. But then suddenly you pull out this performance out of nowhere.
Against
Amazing
the best
performance
team in the
against the
world.
best team in the world, and you thoroughly deserve to beat him.
Yeah.
It's mental. So obviously he gets that, gives him a, like you say, a bit more credit in the bank, and that gives him a nice, positive start to the following season. And yet it's just reverting back to how shit it's been, and it's bad. It's bad.
So would you not
It's
take
bad.
him at
But
Everton then? No.
Would I fuck? Would I fuck?
But
Oh,
Dyche ball.
no.
Dyche ball over Ten Hag ball.
I think you'd rather have Dyche over than Ten Hag, and I think he'd probably do a better fucking job.
To be honest, it's weird because I think the majority of fans, right, if you said to them now, 2 trophies in 2 years, they'd snap your fucking hand off for it, especially Tottenham fans.
I know.
Especially Tottenham fans. Even Arsenal. Arsenal, I know we was pushing for a league last season. Didn't win anything. You don't get a prize for finishing second in the league. So
Exactly.
that's why it's difficult for United fans because you're like, we love trophies. We love like people take them for granted. And that was a big kind of boost for Ten Hag. And then we got all this positivity coming in with Ineos over the summer. Finally got the right structure we've been moaning about. I mean, I was sick of moaning about it for years. And people on the television were sick about moaning it for years. But the truth is, we did need that new structure in place. Now that's there, I do think there is context to the way it's going. Because if you've watched United at the start of this season, the goals we've conceded have all come from individual mistakes. Is that on a coach? Okay. I don't think they are. The goals the goals that we're not scoring, we're creating the most chances in the league, and the players aren't finishing the chances when they get to that final third. So I'm like, there's only so much a manager can do. He can set you up perfectly, like he did against Crystal Palace. For the first 45 minutes, we dominated them. They did fuck all, absolutely nothing, and we created loads of chances. But then in the important areas, we can never ever seem to find any consistency, and that's the annoying thing. And that's been a reoccurring theme. So maybe it is on the manager, maybe it is a little bit on the players. I don't know, but it's my head's fucking a mess with this team. Honestly, I support it. It's difficult. It's so many ups and downs.
Yeah, like the debate for this is like the hardest one I think out of any club in the league. I would say, because, like you say, there's so many, like the pros and cons, right? The cons list is it's long, man. It's long,
Mm-hmm.
but on the pros, it's shorter, but
Strong.
ultimately, it's strong. You've won things, and it's hard to win things,
Yeah.
and you've done it while it's taken. Like, obviously, especially against City, but even like the Carabao Cup the year before, I took some big performances and big results, and then last season, not just beating City in the final, but that amazing game. Was
Liverpool.
it the quarter against Liverpool? Was that the
Yeah, I
quarters?
was at that
Was it
game.
before? But yeah, what an
Unbelievable.
amazing game, amazing performance. And then that it's after the. Do you know like before when I was saying with Daesh, where it's like important to sort of try and not go over the top with it and try and focus on the negatives, because then you look at the Liverpool game for us and certain other games where you're like, this is us, this is a Daesh Everton team, and then you look at Ten Hag's United beating Liverpool in the cup, beating City in the cup, and certain other games here and there across these 2 and whatever years, where you go, this is a Ten Hag United team, and this is something to get hyped about, feel positive about. So it's so difficult to, do you know what I mean? But for me, the fact of he does deserve, like, he deserves a bit of grace with it. He does, because of what he's done. But at the same time, like I said, from day one, I think, which his first ever game, or even like going like the pre-season, his first ever game, from there, and then what was it? The first game was against Brighton, wasn't it, that you lost at home?
Mm-hmm.
Then you get battered 4-0 against
Brentford.
Brentford. Obviously, we're going back a bit, but what I'm saying is from day one, any time I've watched United in that time, and I've watched these quite a lot, I feel like every single performance is exactly the same, other than in them massive wins that you've had. But even then, it's been very much like Liverpool and City. It was very much. I wouldn't say you.
Counter.
Yeah, but it was, but it wasn't like as in you were just defending for your lot and you were getting battered and wave
Yeah.
after wave. Like
It
it
was
was
more
a
even.
yeah, but yeah, it's difficult, man. It's difficult,
You can
but I
see why
do
it's tricky,
think
innit? With honestly, it's so
it's
hard.
just, yeah, because he does deserve credit. He does, of course, he does. But it would be wrong not to point out his flaws, of which I think he has quite a few.
Yeah.
So
I think that's fair. That's fair. I always like getting it like from a different fan's perspective, simply because, like Jamie Carragher, for example, sometimes when he talks about United, he won't polish it. Obviously, with him being a
yeah,
scout, so sometimes he might overdo it a little bit.
yeah.
But
He's like having
a
a
lot of
go.
the time, I'm like, I find myself agreeing with Jamie Carragher. I don't want to agree with Jamie Carragher, but a lot of stuff he says, he's like, he's bang on.
Yeah,
Like, you can't get away from these. Like, he was the one who, well, everyone knew about it anyway, but he was the one who pointed out these kind of glaring midfield issues and, getting killed
yeah.
on the transition. Casemiro on his own, wing back pushing right on. But yeah, I don't know. There's been a couple of changes this season. We'll just have to see it. I think if he loses this game against Spurs, they won't sack him. But I mean, it's
No,
difficult. It's difficult to
yeah.
fucking.
That's what I was saying. Like this is, I think you lose this game, and then this is the period where it's like, right now he's very close. Like the pressure is on. Whether it's very close the next 4 games or the next 3 months, I'd say it's more of a 3 months type of
Yeah, because
thing to
Ineos
see.
won't
Yeah,
knee jerk reaction. They
no,
won't
no, definitely not. And Ineos, obviously, they made the big call in the summer to back him,
Yeah,
so they're not going to get rid of him
exactly. Exactly.
5 minutes in. But
Yeah.
he's going the right way for that. If that's what he wants, bloody hell, Ten Hag,
Do you know
the
who
way
we've
it's
got
going.
after Spurs as well?
Who?
Aston Villa. And do you know who we've got in between that? Porto away. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. That's
So
three. That's what I mean. You lose to Spurs, you get a bad result against Porto, you go into the Villa game, and then it's like fucking hell.
yeah.
And then you lose that, and if you lose it quite heavily or convincingly, like you might lose 2-0, but you've been battered, then he could be gone from that
But
result.
the type of team United are though, they'll go and win them games. Because
Probably, yeah.
just when you think United are out of it, it happened under Ole or Jose Mourinho, I think it was, where he had a
Yeah.
really bad run of games. We played City and Spurs and we beat them both. And everyone's like, you're scratching your head coming out the stadium. You're like, I don't get this. I really don't get this team. It's like a toxic
Football,
relationship.
innit? Makes no
Honestly,
sense. Toxic, yeah.
it is because you
Yeah,
keep going back. You're like, no, they'll
no.
hurt me again. They'll hurt me again. I don't want to
Yeah.
do that. And then they're like, they win. And you're like, oh, finally, they love me again. And then you
There's
go,
no
right.
club. Yeah, there's no club that Everton fans hate more than Everton. So I reckon there's a lot of United fans that
Yeah.
can relate to that quite a bit.
Yeah,
To be honest.
for sure. Right, last few comments. Bart is a serious fan. Says Solanke's found some form at the right time with 3 wins in a row. I expect Ange to come from behind and punish United's prolificancy in front of goal. The engine room of United looks leggy with Bruno and Mainu knackered. And what did you say then? Sorry.
I fully agree with.
Oh, I thought you said
that
something about your
point,
battery
yeah.
then. I was like, oh shit.
Sorry. Oh, no.
Mark returning from injury, United will be a threat during dead balls due to delay. Well, we did mention in the preview, Tottenham are susceptible to, you look at corners, Vicario is flaky as fuck. So if you're going to do anything, just put one in on him. That's what I'd advise. United are not a side of last season, conceding 10 plus shots in 35 of the 38 games in the league. Their new look Ajax team defence has given Onana the backing to ping the ball at will. Ten Hag's biggest flaw is stubbornness and loyalty to a captain who has been average for many, many games now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we did a show on Bruno Fernandes yesterday, so make sure you check that out if you people in the chat haven't seen it. Lumen, question, why is Eric Ten Hag being stubborn, clearly knowing he's facing the heat? That's one of his biggest issues. Ten Hag has been stubborn when he was at Ajax. When there was fans at Ajax who was complaining about that as well. He's just the type of guy that he is. He will stick with something, and like we said, ultimately it'll cost him his job if he keeps doing
Live
it.
or die by the sword. To be fair, yeah. I mean, fair play almost in him to say I'm not gonna, these are my principles or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's probably gonna smack him on the arse, really, isn't it?
Yeah. He's gonna have a wee smack bottom, Eric. So yeah, a wee smack bottom. Oh, Alyx. Oh, Ferguson. Let us know, guys, what you make of our predictions. Challenge us in the comments if you are watching this later on. Let us know what game you're excited for most. Did we do a banana skin? Did you have one potentially in there? Do you want to throw us one if I could tell you the games?
I mean,
Newcastle City, Arsenal, Leicester.
Probably the Everton game, to be honest. But does that fall into your definition?
Well, a banana skin is just like it's a potential slip in it. So I think it would more rely on maybe a big team traveling somewhere and you know what I mean?
Well, Chelsea could definitely lose at home to Brighton. That's for sure.
Okay. So is that what you're going with for your banana skin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will also say actually because we didn't do Bournemouth Southampton, and I've noticed that I put 3-2. Put 3-2 Bournemouth for that one, and that's got more goals in than any of my other predictions. So that's my barn burner. Then
I'm the only guy to do game week 6 predictions and miss a game out. Literally, what on earth? So yeah, I'm just gonna throw that as the banana skin. Fuck it, I think that could be a bit of a crazy one. Bournemouth Southampton.
Yeah, Monday night football.
Monday night.
I think it's gonna be loads of goals.
Okay, awesome. Well, I really enjoyed this, and thank you to everyone in the chat as well who's been getting their opinions in, as always. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We are currently on, 7,010, I think, subscribers in a minute, so we're on the road to 10k, and really looking forward to the games over the weekend. And will you be watching the games closely, Alyx, with Everton, with one eye open?
Well, I'll certainly be watching the Everton game, but we'll see what else. But yeah, bloody hell, big game, big weekend for us. We need this. We need this. So
who should I get in my team? And did you say? If I'm gonna go FPL, I imagine he's cheap, right?
It should be.
Yeah.
Can't imagine he's.
I need a little cheap, like midfielder, but just to facilitate for Haaland and your Salads and these kind of guys. So I'll keep an eye on that. Anyway,
he's a number 10. He's behind the striker. He scores, so I imagine he'd be pretty decent to have.
Okay. Well, you'll be getting a thorough DM if he doesn't do anything in the team for 3 weeks. I can assure you of that, sir.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Right. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely weekend, whatever it is you're doing. And we'll see you tomorrow, 12 o'clock and 7 o'clock again. Yeah.